Welcome aboard the BK Escape Pod. That's right, it's the augmented and bionic podcast version of the live show you can hear Saturdays from 10 a.m. till 12 p.m. Eastern on 100.3 FM and AM 1450 WBHF Radio. You can stream the show live there Saturdays at WBHFradio.org or on the free Tunein app. Look out, here we go. Oh, and by the way, if you hear me give out a telephone number, don't call because this is a rebroadcast, and our janitor Charlie will answer the phone, and believe me, you don't want to talk to him. He's an ornery little cuss.
Stand by to receive our transmission.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
Dead or alive, you are coming with me.
The Force will be with you, always.
As God is my witness, I thought turkeys could fly.
Wow, we've got some pretty cool stuff coming up on the program today. Well, not like we don't have cool stuff. It's like I say that and I'm like, don't I have cool stuff every Saturday? Well, I'd like to think that I do, but it's kind of extra special cool today because you're going to be in on this little experiment that we're going to do today on the air. Hey, it's BK on the air. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Nostalgic Geekiness Run Rampant. You know, you have a dog that bolts, a dog that, like, everybody has a dog that does exactly what you say. Some of them do. And if they run out of your front yard or whatever, and you go, hey, come back here. Hey, back in the yard. Some people have great obedient dogs. I have a prison break dog. If she ever gets the freedom of getting out of the fence or running out of the garage when someone's not looking, if the door happens to be left open or something, she is gone and out the door. She does eventually remember where the food is and where her loyalties lie. Let's say that much. She knows where home is. She just likes to get out there and run free for a little while, and it's hard to get her back, but she does eventually come back. That's me on Saturday. I'm like the dog that just got off the leash. I'm that show that goes, oh, that guy's out of control. Let's get him back under the leash here after noon, after 12 o'clock. That's me. And by the way, you know the only way to get my dog back? One of the ways we found to get her back, because my dog doesn't do squeaky toys. If you squeak a toy at her, she's like, ugh, I hate that squeaky noise. Don't do that. I found out we have a bridge. Our house is up on a hill, but we have like a moat. We have like this little creek that kind of surrounds the front of our house. I was thinking about putting alligators in it one day or whatever, and just let them grow. It'd be nice, but the liability would be way too crazy for that.
Neighbors might complain.
And the drawbridge where I can pull it up if I have to and pull it back down. But we have a bridge on our driveway which goes over a little creek, and it's made out of wood. It's a wooden bridge. So when one of us gets home, we drive over the bridge. Well, our cars going over our bridge in the driveway make a very interesting sound. It's like, it's that noise you could kind of hear, sort of, if you're listening real close and there's no noise in the house, you can hear it just a little bit. Well, when my dog hears that noise, she knows we're coming home because I can be there, and Stacy's driving home, and when she drives over that thing, my dog will bolt to the door to greet her, and I'm like, and if I didn't hear it, I'm like, oh, it must mean she's home. She heard the bridge noise. Well, we discovered the first day she bolted out of the house once, and she's only done it twice in the 6 years we've owned her. And I'm
only twice.
This is not dog talk, but it is dog talk here on BK on there. We love our dogs, and we tell dog stories. Well, we discovered that she was gone one day, and Stacy goes, wait a minute, let's try something. And she was in the area. She just wasn't coming back to the house. But, you know, we have a road, and we're worried about her getting hit and stuff. So she goes, let me grab the Lexus, and I'll drive it down the road because she knows our car, and she knows me, and I'll just call her, and I'll drive around and see if I can coax her back. Well, that didn't work. But when she pulled back in the driveway and went over the bridge, she came running. And that worked. So I'm like, now we know. Now we know the rest of the story.
See,
how to get her back to the house.
We discovered with ours when she bolts, she loves going for car rides. When you have the car door open,
really?
She wants to jump in the car because she knows we're going somewhere.
That won't work with Pippa. Isn't it funny how dogs have different personalities? Our dog hates to ride in the car. She hates the car, doesn't want to go ride in the car. Some dogs do, some dogs don't. They really don't. My dog doesn't like other dogs. we've taken, we're like, just take her to the dog park. We have 2 beautiful dog parks in Cobb County that you can go to, and we've taken her to both over the years. But when we would take her there, she ignores the other dogs, stays with us, and just plays with us. And I'm convinced she just thinks she's a human or she thinks we're dogs or whatever. Because she's like kind of indifferent to other dogs, and I just am convinced she thinks she's a human being. So she doesn't really seem to have as good time at the dog park that I would thought that she does. She runs around a little bit, but every time a dog comes up, she's like, I don't want to have anything to do with you. I don't, especially if it's a boy dog. She's like, no, I have no interest at all.
Yeah,
so
dogs have personalities, and they're all different.
They do.
We call him Hodor, and now that you've seen Game of Thrones, you know who Hodor is.
Hold the door.
Riley is our Hodor. He's a gentle giant goofball who just is like,
He'd leave with anybody,
he
right?
cannot wait to get in the car to go somewhere, and then whines the whole time because he hates it now that he's in the car.
Oh, no.
But he gets so excited, like, we're going to the dog park. Wait a minute, there's this whole driving thing I don't like. But now we're at the dog park.
Yeah.
I'm like, you are Hodor. Your
dog just likes the enjoyment of something happening, but once it happens, you're like, well, I got to do the next thing.
He will whine and cry from the other room. If we're outside on the deck, we've got the door closed because we don't want the heat of the air conditioning getting out. We'll hear inside over and over until we let him out. And my wife is like, I don't want to train him to think he can beg to get outside. So I'm going to tell him quiet, and if he can stay quiet for a minute, then I'll let him out on my terms. Well, sometimes that's a battle of wills that'll last 25 minutes. I'm like, just let him out.
Now, is your dog bowl there beside there still in the house, or have they moved yours? Is yours still there, Alan's bowl?
I'm controlled a completely different way, but yes. My bowl,
just to make sure.
I'm allowed to actually have my bowl on the table.
Sure, yeah.
But, no, I've been trained.
By the way, you mentioned...
There's a high-pitched dog whistle going off right now. I'm like, I'm in trouble.
You mentioned Hodor from Game of Thrones. In the middle of Game of Thrones, great. I could do a whole show on it, approaching the 7th season now. And we just not too long ago saw the Hodor episode. And I'm like, that's heartbreaking what happened and why he just can say Hodor, and that's all. I mean, it was because of the time travel thing that happened and turned him into... It was heartbreaking to watch that. And it was... What a great role, though. I could have done Hodor because he had one line. He didn't really have to memorize any of the lines, but he was great acting and not having to say much.
And use a wheelbarrow.
It was great, yeah. And be really big and carry people.
Yeah.
You had to do that, too. So, by the way, I want to tease this. Coming back from the break, now, last couple episodes I've said how I wanted to do some things when we were children. I want to do something, jump on a trampoline. I want to make some Jiffy Pop popcorn. I'd like to make a manwich, a Sloppy Joe or something like that. Just some stuff we used to do as a kid. Well, we're going to do it today. After we come back from a break, I'm going to, and we'll hear from the Golden Rage of TV and Pat McCormick. When we come back, I have Tang for us today. I've made Tang. It's been chilling in the fridge in our break room here at the station. I'm serving it to us today in 1976 vintage Pepsi Burger King Batman and Robin glasses that I've had since I was a kid. And I've brought them. I said, why not drink them out of something appropriate from when we were kids, too? I don't think I've had Tang since I was in single-digit age numbers, which may be 6, 7 years old or something. So, and I did used to drink it. I do remember it, and we had it in our household. All this sparked from when I tried a Capri Sun for the first time. I said I'd never had one, and when I guest starred on the Nostalgic Pod Blast with Chance Bartels, he surprised me with a Capri Sun. I'm like, that's great. It's great. I'm glad I finally had one. Well, Alan and I are going to drink and sample Tang for the first time. I'll post a photo on Facebook. You can check it out of our glasses with our Tang.
Is it the same recipe?
The glasses. I think it is. I don't think it's changed.
Because I'm
much
wondering,
years,
would we know the difference?
I don't know. We're going to find out. We're going to
like
drink
if somebody
it.
brought us a classic Coke.
I don't know.
Before New Coke, and now the New Coke is Old Coke, and the Old Coke is New Coke.
After you drink
if you had a classic Coke, would you know the difference?
I don't know, but I can tell when something's. I can tell a real Coke from a Diet Coke for sure.
Well, for sure.
Now, if I drink a real Coke, I'm like, sugar, my head just blew off. So it's BK on there. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to try some. We'll hear from the Golden Rage of TV. Then we're going to try some Tang live on the air, Orange Tang.
We'll return after these messages.
Burger time, Kennel Ration Burger time, hungry time, Kennel Ration Burger time, always an easy time, Kennel Ration Burger time, zip the pouch and pour it in a bowl time, serve it up in just about no time.
There's quite a difference between Kennel Ration Burger and the other leading brand. With Kennel Ration Burger, just zip and pour, and it's ready to eat. No breaking necessary.
Kennel Ration Burger time, always an easy time, Kennel Ration.
I drink Dr. Pepper and I'm proud. I'm part of an original crowd. And if you look around these days, seems to be a Dr. Pepper craze. I'm a pepper, he's a pepper, she's a pepper, we're a pepper. Wouldn't you like to be a pepper too? I'm a pepper, he's a pepper, she's a pepper. If you drink Dr. Pepper, you're a pepper too. Be a pepper, drink Dr. Pepper. Be a pepper, drink.
Never fear, Smith is here.
Greetings, fellow classic TV fans. Made for only $140,000, the 1974 theatrical release of The Life and Times of Grizzly Adams grossed approximately $65 million. Reportedly, this helped blaze the trail for the NBC TV series, which ran from 1977 to 78 for a total of 38 episodes. It was loosely based on the real-life frontiersman John Grizzly Adams. This historical figure actually did have a couple of grizzly bear companions that he tamed, and like on the show, one was named Ben. Actor Dan Haggerty played the larger-than-life character in both the film and television versions. He began his on-screen career playing the bodybuilder Biff in the Frankie and Annette film Muscle Beach Party. He later had a bit part as a hippie in Easy Rider and actually helped to design the motorcycles used in the film. Dan was the perfect fit playing Grizzly Adams, as the two had some real commonalities. Both had been animal trainers and performed for the public with their exotic beasts. By 1860, John Adams was performing what he called his California menagerie with the great P.T. Barnum's Circus. And before his most recognized role portraying Adams, Dan Haggerty worked as an animal trainer in his family's menagerie and also as a handler for Walt Disney Studios. Aside from his obvious love of animals, bodybuilding, and motorcycles, in 1994 it was Dan Haggerty's career in acting which earned him a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. This is Pat McCormick with your retro TV trivia from the Golden Rage of TV. You can also find me on YouTube and Facebook at Golden Rage of TV and on Twitter at Golden Rage of TV1. And now back to BK on the air.
With the success of the recent Apollo space flights, man has been brought another step closer to the moon. Aboard these manned Apollo flights, 3 astronauts, and with them, Tang. Tang, the energy breakfast drink with rich natural flavor and more vitamin C than orange juice. Still, Tang's biggest role isn't in NASA's space program. It's right here on Earth.
Right here in the studio. We're here with BK on the air, right here on AM 1450 and 100.3 FM. Oh, let me go back and get my glass here. WBHF. Alan's about to take a picture on the air with us with our Tang and our glasses. So we talked about returning to things about our childhood. Actually, I talked about it, and I've been trying to introduce a few things. I do have some Jiffy Pop
Smells like I remember.
at home now, by the way.
Good.
So I'm going to do the Jiffy Pop popcorn very soon because I have some at home. So right now, I have made us 2 glasses of Tang. Now, Tang has been around for years. We drank it as kids, and I really don't think we've had it since we were kids in single digits, at least 6, 7, 8 years old. I'm serving it. I've got it in our Batman and Robin 1976 Batman and Robin Burger King Pepsi glasses here, and I've had this chilling in the break room here at WBHF.
It's nice and cold
to drink. So we've got our Tang right here. I'll let you go first because I don't want us to do it at the same time.
Well, I was going to cheer and
too
say
much silence
to your list.
But click lightly. Click lightly. Oh, there we go.
I wanted to get the microphone.
Did we hear it? Let's do it by the micro. Do it by your mic. I can stretch. Ready? All right, there we go.
There we go. All right. So
cheers, Tang.
Here we go. I've got Robin. I guess you make the little buddy go first.
You're the boy wonder.
And if I die, then the hero is still alive for the next episode.
Die.
All right, here we go.
Alan takes a sip. I feel like I'm at a golf game. Alan takes a sip of Tang right now in the glass, in the Robin glass.
Well, a lot of sugar in that.
Of course, yeah, because we're kids again. It's kids.
But honestly,
all right, hold on. Let me do it for you. All right, here we go. It's radio. We got to make it dramatic. Big gulp. Okay, that is really tangy orange, and I think that's what I remember it tasting like. Is that right?
This
there?
tastes
really
exactly like I remember it.
Tang.
It hasn't changed.
That's great.
I swear to God, I'm back at home on my patio in Michigan when my mom used to make this. We had Tang all the time. Mm-hmm. Tang and Kool-Aid. Those were the 2 things we drank all summer long. Tang and Kool-Aid.
And we had it. Grew up in a little town called Center, Alabama, in the morning for school. And we'd have Tang, and Saturday morning, too. Just in the morning, that's when I have it. But you know what? I didn't care. I wanted Tang, like, whenever. I mean, it wasn't. You didn't have to drink it for lunch, for breakfast. But it's still. I noticed on the package that it's still pretty packed with vitamin C, which is kind of cool. So not only are we getting a lot of sugar, we're getting a lot of healthy stuff too. You know, there's water in it. Water's good for you, right?
It actually tastes pretty good. I know it's not healthy for me, but it's really good.
Who cares?
It tastes good.
We don't drink it all the time, and nor will we drink it all the time.
No. This is for what we're doing.
It's good.
They have not changed, as far as I can tell. They have not changed the recipe.
It really, my brain's like doing like nostalgic handstands right now.
Backflips.
It really. I wondered, and you said, will we remember this? Will we drink it and go, wow, I don't remember that or whatever. But this brings back memories like, I remember this tasting like this. It's really great. They must not have changed the recipe in all these years.
You know what's wild? My mom would make Tang for us by the glass, like we're drinking here, but she would make Kool-Aid by the pitcher.
Right, and you can make this by the pitcher too. There's a measuring thing on it.
I imagine you'd be able to, but it was wild. Like she would always say, "Well, because you can't drink so much Kool-Aid," she would make an entire pitcher, put it in the refrigerator. But when we wanted Tang, we had to do it by the glass, and I'm not sure why.
Now I mix this like crazy in the back, but we still have Tang residue at the bottom, like we did when we were a kid. There's a little bit of Tang powder.
There's so much sugar, it won't all dissolve.
But you know what? My mouth is so happy right now. That's so great. It just puts me in a good mood. It's almost like you drink a shot of that and you're like, oh, you know, the UN needs to have this. You know, especially if they're having problems and arguing over government issues and stuff, or we're having problems in negotiating. Just break out some Tang and some Jiffy Pop popcorn, and they'll make them feel better. You know, if they had that when they were a kid.
Remember how you were talking about Jiffy Pop, and I said I've gotten into doing the popcorn, like just the kernels.
Yeah, the way you pop it. Yeah.
I didn't realize I could buy liquid coconut oil now. And I made some in coconut oil. Dude.
Oh, you guys use coconut oil a lot. That's right.
Dude, that was so good. I made that last night.
I have a cousin that they use their teeth sometimes. They use a coconut oil toothpaste mixture for toothpaste and use it like in their mouth along with toothpaste.
You don't use the liquid. You would use the hardened, like the shortening almost looking.
Yeah, that'll loosen up if it gets warm or whatever. Yeah, they use that. But Tang, that's great. That tastes so good. But it's nice to have it as a little treat like we're doing.
I can honestly tell you, I don't know if I'll be able to finish the glass without giving myself some time because I don't like super sweet things in huge amounts. I start going, okay, too much sweet. I got to stop.
This is making my lips smack. You lick your lips, you can still taste it. It's like strong.
I'm starting to feel like the curl on my tongue.
Yeah, but
from the citrus,
it's aptly named because I didn't get it when I was a kid. I didn't know that's why they called it. It's a tangy orange drink.
Mm-hmm.
And they the packaging has changed a little bit. The thing that it came in that and we can thank Mrs. BK for this because I asked her could she look last night. It was a last minute thing. I was too busy. I couldn't stop anywhere because I was out in the middle of the night. And I said, listen, while I'm gone tonight, if you go to the store, can you see if there's some Tang at the store? She's like, okay, I'll look and see. And I was hoping that they'd have it in like the packs where you can take the little individual packets and put it in your bottle of water now, like the powder. Mm-hmm. They may have it like that somewhere, but they don't. It wasn't where she went. But, you know, you ever seen the little plastic containers that Country Time Lemonade comes in? It's a little white plastic thing, and it's kind of fat and wide and round or whatever. That's what the Tang comes in now. It's that little thing where you screw off the top, and you can make your mixture out of that. And
well, what's funny is because my wife likes the little individual things that she can make flavored
those,
for like with, and she gets ones with caffeine because she's not a coffee drinker. If you want that much Tang,
I'm enjoying the heck out of this. This is great.
That's weird because every time I bring the glass to my face, Robin's running right at me.
The boy wonder.
Like,
yeah, these glasses came, and you'll see them on. Go to Facebook. Alan took a photo. He may have posted on his Facebook page.
I will.
But I took a photo of the glasses with the Tang, and I'll put them on BK there as soon as at our next break or after we get off the air today. Well, I'm now happy that I've started this little trend lately of wanting to do kid things. So we've taken care of our first assignment in getting Tang and trying Tang. And you can call us too, by the way. 770-386-1450 is our number. Someone's calling right now. Let's find out who it is. BK on the air. Hello, who is this?
Jeff.
Hey, Jeff.
Hey, Jeff.
How you doing? Are you listening to us try Tang for the first time since we were kids?
Oh, man. What are you talking about?
Did you have it too when you were a kid?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and it tastes exactly like we remember. We were wondering if we were going to remember how it tastes, and we do. We were instantly transported back to elementary school just now when we took not going to drink it all, but I think he's going to drink it all. He's already got half the glass going. I think I'm going to finish mine.
Well, my memory is when he was slurping with that straw. I got a little story for you.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, we lived in town when I grew up, and we come out to the country. We had some friends that would come out and we planted a garden on the property and whatnot. But anyway, they were just country folk. And Mr. Moore had taught me how to rake my biscuit through the gravy
Oh, yeah.
and eat it. Call it sopping your biscuit.
Yes,
And,
sopping up the gravy with the biscuits. Yep.
well, that's the next weekend. We went out somewhere to eat on Sunday after church, and we got breakfast, and I put my biscuit in that gravy and sopped it up. My mama smacked my jaw.
Oh, my goodness. Why did your mama do that?
You don't do that. And she was very proper.
Oh, so she didn't like you doing the whole yeah. How are you supposed to eat it, though? Like, just rake it up with a spoon, I guess? I mean, what are you supposed to do?
I guess.
Wow.
I guess. But it wasn't with a biscuit, I can promise you.
Your mom wasn't. My mom wasn't as proper as yours because my mom was the one that told me sop up your gravy with the biscuit there, get it all out of the thing. So, cool, great memory, Jeff. I appreciate it. Always good to hear from you, buddy.
Hey, by the way, if you want to try something good, get you some K-Roll syrup and butter, mix it together and top your biscuit in it.
Oh, sounds good. Well, don't tell us to try something with food, or we will. Thanks, Jeff. Talk to you later, buddy.
Bye.
All right, bye-bye. Yeah, don't threaten us with something to do with food, because we'll do it. You can try crystals and not like them. That's okay. Tang gets a thumbs up from us for like 40 years later. Isn't that great? Speak on there. We'll be back with more.
You've got the look, I want to know better. You've got the look that's all together. Working, playing, day or night. Jordache has the fit that's right. Jordache looks. Jordache looks.
Available at Bullock's.
You can stick Sucker Man on the weirdest places.
Sucker Man.
You can hang Sucker Man in surprising spaces.
Sucker Man.
On a place that's smooth and slick, the suction cups will make him stick. You can even stick him to himself. Sucker Man character comes in 3 colors, each sold separately, new from Mattel.
Care never stops. That's why Whirlpool laundry pairs at Sam Franklin's help you care for your clothes in fewer steps. You can skip adding detergent, fill once, and wash 40 loads on select Whirlpool washers with Load and Go dispenser. And while you're there, be sure to learn more about smart innovations from Whirlpool brand to keep your laundry moving. Sam Franklin Home Furnishings, your mom, pop, and grandkids store. Located at 144 West Main Street in Cartersville, or visit them online at samfranklins.com. Stay safe and stay clean.
You are listening to BK on the Air on AM 1450, FM 100.3, and online on the Tunein radio app. Now, back to a guy who'll make you feel really young, mostly because he's so old. It's BK on the Air.
Just finishing up the little last bit of Tang here in my glass. Yeah, oh, that's good.
I'm only halfway.
You're only halfway, but I think you're going to finish before the show is over. I think.
But I think you probably still have more sweet things in your diet than I do. I don't drink.
No,
I don't drink anything sweet.
I don't either.
No Coke. Nothing. Not even artificial sweetener.
Well, the problem is I drink artificial sweeteners.
So I mean,
but
you're used to the sweetness. Like for me, it's not. It's the sweetness.
This is the real sweetness, and I'm not used to the real one. It's kind of blowing my head off.
You know what? We need to check the tape at about like 11:45 when we come off the sugar high. We're like,
welcome back to BK on the Air.
It was like your first day at WSB. That I remember the first day you were filling in down there at the big giant 50,000 watt.
It was like someone had given me a shot of amphetamine.
Like, Alan's on the radio filling in on a giant radio station in Atlanta at WSB. Why is he set at 78 RPMs?
I wasn't speaking high pitch.
No, you didn't.
But I was doing the whole micro mini machines guy.
You didn't sound like a chipmunk.
So let's say about this because I only have a break coming up, and I want to make sure I get this all in before you.
The FedEx guy. Jesus. Yeah, the fastest talker in the world. Well, there was nothing wrong with it. I understood everything you said, but I'm just and I'm sitting there listening to you, and I'm like, I'm so happy for him. Bless his heart. He's so happy that he's at this giant radio station for the first time.
I've told you this story, but for people who missed it, it was the weirdest thing. You want to talk about mixed emotions?
Oh yeah,
super excited, and just about 3 seconds before the theme went off, I was like, if I run now,
I could leave and never worry about it.
They will play a best of, and I'll be okay.
Right. You know, I did the same thing when I got married. I'm like, if I leave now, friends are, he's like, we can come get you and we can go to Florida and you could just bolt. I'm like, no, I don't want to. I'm happy. I want to do this. It's time that we blast the audience of the news, the weird, the strange, and the bizarre. And I have the first news. This is from Fox News. NASA has debunked speculation over an image from Mars. I don't know if you saw this or not, that appeared to show what many believe to be a rainbow or a dust bow on Mars. Now, in the past Tuesday tweet, the NASA Perseverance Mars rover account wrote that the agency had seen comments online wondering about the bright arc captured in the April 4th photo from the rover's onboard rear left hazard avoidance camera. It wasn't even April 1st. It wasn't even an April Fool's joke. It was April 4th. Quote, many have asked, is that a rainbow on Mars? They said, no, rainbows aren't possible here, unquote, the post says. Rainbows are created by light reflected off of round water droplets, but there isn't enough water here on Mars to condense. And it's too cold for liquid water in the atmosphere, they continued. The arc is a lens flare, is what they saw. A lens flare is caused by a non-image forming bright light that shines into the camera lens, is what they're explaining it as. And it also says, or it could be directly linked to director J.J. Abrams.
I was going to say, just
doing
watch
the
a
camera
J.J.
work for
Abrams
Mars.
movie.
So either way, so they're debunking the whole rainbow. So you got ahead of me there. That was kind of fun. You knew where that was going.
How does somebody not know what a lens flare looks like?
And how does someone not know that what a rainbow is? It's like how one forms in the sky, you know. And so that's there's not a rainbow on Mars. There's no pot of gold on Mars, so don't worry about it. Everything's all right.
I'm just going back to my early South Park when Cartman was talking about things being alien intrusions, and he's like, "Oh, those are rainbows." And he's like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "Oh, rainbows."
You say that, and what's the one episode where he had a probe?
Yeah, that's the one.
And it would come out, and it would go, I love to sing it. I love to swim in the spring, I love to sing it. And when he would do that, that's an old cartoon song from an old Warner Brothers cartoon that they used for that. And it was just funny as heck.
I still love South Park. All right, I've got the next news.
Yeah, where the probe came from, the antenna. That was terrible.
Well, the makers of Busch Beer announced they are seeking a very good boy or girl to make $20,000 by serving as Chief Tasting Officer for Dog Brew, a beer made for dogs.
See, that we had the story last year, and now they're doing it again, and they're taking it a step further, I think.
Yeah, Anheuser-Busch said its inaugural batch of Dog Brew, an alcohol-free beer actually made from bone broth, sold out within 24 hours last year, and is now looking for a canine chief tasting officer to help expand the line of offerings. The dog will be paid $20,000 for the role and will be responsible for taste testing, quality control, and fulfilling duties as an ambassador for the product. The dog will also become a featured creator for Busch's social media channels. Perks of the position include pet insurance and a free supply of dog brew. Owners interested in getting their pets considered for the position of posting photos by posting photos of their dogs on social media, along with a description of their qualifications and the hashtag BuschCT, or actually CTO contest. There you go.
See, I always got to get the dog thing in there because I think that's cool, and it's made from.
And you gave it to me, so it's a beer and dog. Two of my favorite things.
Bone broth, of course. That's what dog beer would be made
I
from.
like
Is bone
it.
broth, you know?
Now I can drink beer with my dog and not feel bad about it.
And you guys can exchange beers, and you can drink a little bit.
What
of
about
sip of his,
exchanging?
and they can drink.
I would never give my dog alcohol. I don't want him
No,
getting sick.
No, well, we don't want him drunk.
Plus, I don't want to get rid of mine.
We don't get. That'd be giving up your beer.
I don't want to give mine up.
You just don't do that. I got the next news. From UPI, pizzeria chain Domino's announced it is teaming up with an autonomous vehicle company to offer customers in Houston, Texas, for the first time, contact-free delivery via robot. Domino's says the R2 robot, developed by Neuro, will be delivering pizzas to Houston customers in the Woodland Heights neighborhood who opt in to autonomous delivery pilot program. The robot car... R2 Neuro. The robot car, which received regulatory approval from the U.S. Department of Transportation, so it's totally safe, by the way, last year, will carry pizzas to customers' homes, and the patrons will receive text messages with updates on the delivery status and a PIN to put in the robot's touch screen to receive the orders. Domino's previously experimented with a self-driving Ford Fusion It was a hybrid delivery vehicle in Ann Arbor, Michigan, right in your neck of the woods, in 2017, and delivery via drone in Britain. I remember that one in 2013. So Domino's is hopping on the robot pizza delivery wagon. Hey, there's a robot bringing my pizza to me. Is there any problem with that?
By your command, the final planet constructed of colonies has suffered a continuing pandemic known as COVID-19. Our raiders have been reconstructed to stand by to annihilate all humanoid civilization. The humanoids are rioting and destroying each other in many cities around the planet Earth. The continuation of this pandemic has brought the humanoid renegades to a state of confusion.
And they're also wanting pepperoni with their pizza along with pineapple, and we don't understand why.
Wow, wasn't Battlestar Galactica really ahead of the time on the COVID
I'm
thing?
trying to remember. Maybe I missed an episode. I'm going to have to go back.
So, what's to worry about?
All right, I got the next news. Wow. From UPI, a Japanese astronaut was awarded a Guinness World Record when he took 2 spacewalks 15 years and 214 days apart.
He just took a break between the two, yeah.
Soichi Noguchi, an astronaut with the Japanese Aerospace Exploration Agency, went for a spacewalk March the 5th as part of the ISS Expedition 64, a record-breaking amount of time after his August 3rd, 2005 spacewalk. Noguchi's gap between spacewalks broke a previous record held by Russian cosmonaut Sergei Krikalev. Guinness sent a digital version of an official certificate to Noguchi on the International Space Station. He said receiving the certificate in space was very cool and creative.
I'm sure it was. How fun? And do you remember? You're the one that told me that when the astronauts do a spacewalk, they always give them about 5 minutes just to get the
first
awe,
time,
to get the awe and spectacle of it all, and then get back to the job.
Well, you know, this goes back to our interview with Shane Kimbrough.
Right, that's what I was talking about. Yeah,
he was just on WSB News this week, because he's from Georgia, and next week he's flying out on a SpaceX rocket.
That's awesome. Yeah.
To the space station. And, he said that. He goes, the very first time, they just NASA knows. The first 10 minutes you're out there, don't ask him to do anything. He or she will be back going, I'm in space.
Yeah. I'd need about an hour, I think, because
I'd be like, hopefully these astronaut suits really do work in all bodily function capacities.
How do you go to the bathroom in your spacesuit? Just like that, speaking of.
Mattel introduces the Battlestar Galactica collection. You can imagine the colonial warrior against the evil Cylon Centurions.
Cylon Centurions ready? Check. Activate eye scanner. Energize pulsator. Aim laser pistol. On target. Colonial warrior changing scanner to laser. Get it. All right.
Each figure sold separately. Batteries not included. Cylon Centurion and Colonial Warrior from the Battlestar Galactica collection. New from Mattel.
Time is money. Using time effectively means added profits and improved business efficiency. That's where Westside Communications can help. A Westside beeper can keep you in touch for important calls and messages. All over town in the privacy of your own daily schedule. No itineraries, no more tracking you down. One phone call puts you in touch. A Westside beeper is a time and space expander. It can work for you today, saving time, improving service. Call Westside Communications now. Tell them Leonard Nimoy gave you the message.
Like a midget at a urinal, I was going to have to stay on my toes.
When it comes to shows about movies and comic books, heroes and crazy news, I tune into PK on the Air from 10 to noon Saturdays.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
Hey, we're back. It's BK on the air here on AM 1450 and 100.3 FM WBHF, putting out a lot of nostalgic geekiness, talk, and monkey business every Saturday morning. I got to do something on Saturday. I've got nothing to do with my life now since all the kids are gone, and I got to keep myself occupied. I got another news.
I can never utter those words in my house when I was like, oh, you need something to do? I'd never be back.
Yeah, see, I don't.
That list never ends. I was like, why did you do that on the infinity loop?
Just make it your ringtone on your phone when your phone goes off. You like Monopoly, right? You're a
Love
Monopoly
playing
fan?
Monopoly.
And there's so many different Monopoly boards you can get with themes and stuff. Do you have a themed one?
I've got a Star Wars one. I got a Lord of the Rings
You got more than one. I got the Marvel Comics one, which is kind of cool. It was given to me as a gift. Oh, but Monopoly, the staple of family life. Well, I got a story here. Not only was the board game our first glimpse how brutal the property market can be and everything, but, it also taught us lessons about money and stuff, which was great finding out about growing up. But it's been the root of many first family arguments throughout childhood. We used to argue like cats and dogs about Monopoly. The pain of languishing in jail while everyone else smugly moves on by, it never truly leaves you. The Monopoly memories are always there, and we still play it this day when we get a chance. Our Monopoly games are marathons, though. I've been in a 6-hour Monopoly game before. It was crazy, but we finished it. It seems that some people love the game more than others, as one UK couple recently discovered after ripping up their carpet. I don't know if you heard about this, but you guys might want to do this in your strange stories on the Wilder Ride. The previous owners had installed there, before these people moved in, the previous owners had installed a massive Monopoly board, and it's truly incredible. The photo was shared on Reddit by the couple's son-in-law, who explained, while tearing up the carpet, my in-laws found a giant Monopoly board under the carpet on the floor in the room. I mean, it was gigantic. It took up the entire room.
So life-size Monopoly board.
Yes, apparently at one point in time, I didn't know about this, that was a trend at the time. I looked into that, and I'm like, a lot of people used to do that, like in their basement game rooms. They would make it in the entire room, but not the Monopoly board, play that way, and use themselves as the pieces with giant dice to roll. But they'd still use the small cards to read, because they didn't have to put the giant cards there. They could still read those.
Can I tell you that there's a little part of me that goes, that'd be kind of fun?
Yes, part of me goes, yeah. The other part of me would say, I got to call Alan to make it for me because I can't do this.
I like the part about walking around being your own piece, but then you got to walk around with all the money.
Yeah, and then
do you wear a money belt? Do you have to?
Then the family arguments could break out and.
What happens when you land on your brother's house?
That's what I'm saying. If you're on the same thing or whatever, you start smacking each other as siblings.
Start kicking the houses off. What house? What are you talking about? I'm not paying this rent.
That's right. Oh, my goodness. I got a breaking story here. Check this out. This is from a website called Spinal Bap. Katrina Leskanich. Her name is Katrina Leskanich. She was the lead singer of, remember the group Katrina and the Waves, Walking on Sunshine? She's suffering from third-degree burns on her feet, and I didn't even know she was still singing or around. I didn't know they were still out there. Here's the story. She was admitted into a hospital last weekend for emergency treatment to severe burn wounds to both of her feet. The injuries occurred as matters got out of control when Katrina was engaged in her customary practice of walking on sunshine. At the initial signs of danger, the singer had attempted to extinguish the fire with her waves, but the flames proved just too fierce and uncontrollable. She's currently being treated at the St. Andrew's Burn Unit at Broomfield Hospital in Chelmsford. A specialist at the hospital has released a statement highlighting the dangers of Katrina's activity and warning her fans not to make the same mistake. It's surprising that Katrina and the Waves were not more seriously hurt or perhaps even killed. So
wow.
That's, yeah. So I've been doing this on and off for almost 30 years.
Have we learned that from the Michael Jackson Pepsi fiasco?
Unthinkable. So we always love bringing you breaking news here with BK on the air. When it breaks, we...
Was it hot off the press?
I think it was hot. Too hot to handle, too cold to hold. Somebody's on the phone right now calling in 770-386-1450. Hey, it's BK on the air. Who's this?
Boo.
Boo. What are you booing? It's Vintage Brian. Hey, buddy. Haven't heard from you in a while. How you doing?
All right, guys. I just had to cut in. You cut me to the quick with my 80s. Shut back.
Hey, I report breaking news when it comes out. I can't ignore it. If somebody gets hurt, I got to talk about it.
I guess we'll give you this time with it being reported as it broke.
Well, what's going on with you, Brian?
Oh, not a whole lot. I have decided to go forward with that podcast being you talked about.
Oh, good for you. So you're going to enter the world of podcasting. It used to be a small world, but now it's a large world.
Well, I have come up with the most amazing original name for my podcast.
Oh, are you going to break it right now on my show and tell everybody what is your podcast going to be called?
BJ on the Air.
BJ. Okay. Kind of a little play on the old BJ and the Bear thing, right? That's not bad. I like that, yeah.
No, I couldn't resist. No, actually, I have come, and I know a lot of the readers a lot of your listeners are not big, heavy readers, but there's a few of us out there that enjoy reading a really good book.
Yeah, sometimes we read. Yeah, reading's good.
Well, the movie The Manchurian Candidate.
Yeah.
All right, there is a series of books by Dean Koontz called the Jane Hawks series.
Okay.
And it is dealing with the nanotechnologies of mind control and all that, and it is a really great 5-book series.
No, wait a minute. Alan's a big avid reader. He's got like 10 billion books in his living room on his shelf. Have you heard of that, Dean Koontz?
We have a lot of Dean Koontz. I don't think I've read that series though, or the books based in that world.
Interesting.
Well, to put it closer to the normal set of listeners, he's the one that wrote the Odd Thomas series.
Okay. See, I'm not familiar with it, but yeah. Okay.
You've never seen the Odd Thomas movie?
No, I have not. Nope.
But yeah, he wrote the Odd Thomas series, and he's also wrote, like I said, the Jane Hawkins 5-book series. The first one to start with is called The Silent Corner, and it's a quick one to turn the page as fast as you can go books.
Well, you know what's funny is I was taking a trip the other day, and something came on the radio, and it reminded me of you, Brian, because I know that you're a big, not to switch gears here, but I'm going to switch them. You're a big fan, and so am I, of the rock group Sweet. And the classic group Love Is Like Oxygen and all the great hits that they had.
Everybody knows Ballroom Blitz.
Ballroom Blitz came on the station. I was listening to one of the 70s stations. Ballroom Blitz started coming on, and I started singing it. I'm like, oh boy, if Brian could hear this right now, he could sing it right along with me. So, what great songs they had.
The whole band. I mean, it had the band had a tragic group with the lead singer dying of cancer, the drummer dying of cancer.
Yeah.
But there's still actually original member is touring still today.
Yeah, they do, and I'm sure you follow them on Facebook, right? Their official site.
Yes.
Yeah, they're great.
I do.
And they enjoyed a resurgence there for a while when Ballroom Blitz was redone by Tia Carrera on one of the Wayne's World movies. Remember that?
Yes.
Yeah, she did a remake of it.
They done they got a minor lift up when the group Crocus redone them in the 80s.
Right.
The heavy metal group Crocus redone them, and then when, like you said, when Tia then redone them, they got another lift up. Well, for some reason, the Guardians of the Galaxy, doing the older songs, the records coming back into play, they've uplifted again. They are getting an entire new young generation of music fans listening to them.
That's great. A lot of those older songs that get used in these movies, especially the way James Gunn uses them in Guardians of the Galaxy, that's how Mr. Blue Sky by ELO joined another resurgence, because they used that song in a lot of commercials too. But it was riding high on Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. It was the opening song of the film when they were attacking at the beginning with little Groot running around. Well, when I first heard Love Is Like Oxygen by Sweet, I was hooked. What a great harmonies and great guitar work on that song.
The first Sweet song that ever, I mean, when we were younger, you didn't put the groups like Little Willie and stuff like that in, but the first Sweet song that I actually heard that hooked me into them was a song called Wink, Wham, Bam.
Right, another great song by them, yeah.
That, and then doing like Blockbuster and Hellraiser.
I appreciate it, Brian. It's always good to hear from you, buddy.
Guys, y'all have a good one.
You too, man. Talk to you later. Bye. See, I knew Brian was a big Sweet fan, because every time I hear Sweet now, I think of either
I think of
Brian
Tang.
or... You think of what?
Tang.
Especially right now, we're thinking of Sweet because we're drinking Tang right now, and it's so sweet. Yeah, Sweet they were one of those groups that didn't have like a billion hits or anything, but they just had a few. And I'm sure that you've heard some of You've heard Ballroom
Blitz
right?
is great.
You've heard the original version by them, right? And people call them sometimes, they're referred to as Sweet, or sometimes I've seen their name listed on an album as The Sweet. And I don't know if they can decide what they're called, whether it's The Sweet or just Sweet. Either way, it's sweet.
Sweet,
I don't
man.
mind. But yeah, BK on there. We're clicking up to the top of the hour here, and I've got some stories coming up because I don't have time to do one right now. But the ones I'm going to come back after the top of the hour, and no Channel Star Wars today too. They are having problems today and could not get one done. I think they're using their Star Wars Extra Channel Star Wars now. We've got a story about an actor passing away, that he may be in more things that you remember him. Also, a classic Spider-Man actor from Spider-Man 2, the Spider-Man 2 film with Sam
Far
Raimi.
From Home?
No, Sam Raimi. Sam Raimi Spider-Man with Tobey.
Not the
Maguire.
Andrew Garfunkel one?
No, not that one. That was the Amazing Spider-Man 2. Right. They had to change the title to that. But yeah, we got a classic star from Spider-Man 2 from the days of Sam Raimi and Tobey Maguire coming back. He's made it official on Variety that he's coming back as a character that he played in Spider-Man 2, Doc Ock. And it was rumored for a while whether they were going to do it or not, but he just broke it on Variety. And if Variety reports it, it's in stone then, because they're not like a rumor website. Got that story coming up. And hey, they were testing the new Velociraptor coaster at Universal. I'm going to tell you how they were testing it. I didn't know about this, how they test roller coasters sometimes. It's not always live participants sitting on the coaster testing it. They use other things too. We got that coming up, plus more fun when we come back. It's BK on the air.
Give it up! Podcast Magazine presents the Hot 50 Countdown.
Hi, it's Rob Actis, host of the podcast magazine Hot 50 Countdown. Join me as I count them down from 50 to number 1, the top 50 podcasts in the land as determined by you, the podcast fans. From true crime, society and culture, self-help, health and fitness, science, and every podcast category in between. The Hot 50 Countdown is here.
Hey, it's BK on the air.
And Chance Bartels with the Nostalgic Pod Blast.
And we're here to tell you that you can hear us both at Fistful of Radio.
You can hear us, Nostalgic Pod Blast, Saturdays and Sundays from 2 to 5 p.m.
And BK on the air every Saturday at 8:30 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern.
We're like the Nostalgic Talk cousins. We're bookends, if you will.
You're absolutely right.
So be sure to listen right here on fistfulofradio.com.
Oh, yeah. That sounded great. It wasn't too nostalgic, was it?
No way. It was groovy.
For some reason or another, you sound a little taller on radio.
Stand by to receive our transmission.
Well, hey there. We're back. It's PK on the air right here Saturday morning. No Channel Star Wars report today. They are out today, but they'll return next week. So we'll just do a little on this day in history while we're at it. April 17th, today on this day, 1924. The first one I have up right here. 1924, this day in history. Metro Pictures, Goldwyn Pictures, and Louis B. Mayer Company merged on this day to form Metro Goldwyn Mayer MGM on this day in history. 1937, on this day, Daffy Duck, Warner Brothers cartoon character created by Tex Avery and Bob Clampett, the Looney Tunes and Merry Melody series. He first debuts in Porky's Duck Hunt on this day. Daffy Duck's first appearance in a short on this day in history. 1937, that's how long these Warner Brothers cartoons have been around, and they still have staying power to this day. They're still just as relevant, as funny as they always have been. 1964 on this day, the Ford Mustang is formally introduced on this day back in 1964. Want to take a guess of how much it came out, what the price was?
Wasn't it something like $1,800?
$2,368 for a base model Ford Mustang on this day. I love going to this calculator I have online. There's several sites that do it. But you can put in money and how much it was worth in a certain year, and I was just amazed by. I'm like, I added up my weekly salary from the jobs that I have, how much I make in a week at all the jobs that I do involved in, and I go, how much would I make if I made this much money in 1966 when I was born? And I looked at it, I'm like, man, that's a lot when you look at it back in 1966. So
yes,
it's not. It's 2021, so it's not so much now. So I look at it that way. It kind of
barely covers the rent.
Today in 1970, Apollo 13 limps safely back to Earth.
Saw the
this
movie
day in history, April 17th. Yeah, they made it back in the movie.
Not too
safely.
bad.
Yeah.
Houston, we have a problem.
So
I had somebody argue with me about biopics. I'm like, oh, well, if you like Patton as a biopic, I guess you like all of the inaccuracies. I'm like, it is a movie. We have to kind of sum things up and maybe leave things out. I'm not expecting it to be a documentary.
It has to be entertaining.
It's a biopic.
Too. It has to be entertaining. And I get in trouble when I run into people that do that to me because sometimes I slap them. And I get in trouble for that.
Yeah, I had to do it virtually across the internet.
I shouldn't do that. I get in trouble for doing that. Today in 1970, on this day in history, April 17th, Paul McCartney's first solo album, McCartney, is released. I wonder if he thought about what he was going to call that.
Self-titled.
Yeah, so 1981, Carl Gottlieb's movie Caveman. You know Carl Gottlieb. He was involved with Jaws.
Mm-hmm.
His movie Caveman, starring Ringo Starr, Shelley Long, Barbara Bach, Dennis Quaid, and John Matuzak, premiered on this day. Have you ever seen Caveman?
No, but I'm having some weird recollection of a preview.
It is the goofiest It's about cavemen. It's a comedy and has a fun theme to it. But Ringo Starr, I think it was one of his several acting jobs that he did. But it opened to this day. It's a goofy movie. You ever get a chance to watch it? It's got a lot of good stop motion, cheap looking dinosaurs in it too. So yeah. And on this day in history, in 2011, Game of Thrones, based on the fantasy novels by George R.R. Martin, premieres on HBO on this day in 2011. April 17th.
Wow.
Wait till you hear
10 years ago.
Wait till you hear his birthday it is. I didn't know one of the cast members had their birthday on the premiere episode of Game of Thrones. Today's birthday is William Holden. William Holden Beadle is his real name. American actor. He was in The Blue Knight, Sunset Boulevard, Sabrina, Bridge Over River Kwai. Guy had a large acting catalog. He died in 1981. Today is also the birthday of Don Kirshner, American rock and roll producer known as the man with the golden ear. I think the man, he put the Monkees on the map. He produced like almost all their stuff. He used to have a TV show in the 70s called Don Kirshner's Rock Concert, and that was the precursor to MTV because he would showcase rock groups doing their songs that were popular at the time. And that's back then, that's how I could see how some of these guys looked. Because in the old days, we didn't have MTV. We didn't know what our rock groups looked like unless there was a photo of them included on our album. You know, usually they looked like long-haired Muppets from the Muppet Show. Some of them did. But, yeah, Don Kirshner, he died in 2011. Today is Olivia Hussey's birthday, the Argentine-British actress, fantastic actress, played a great Juliet in Franco Zeffirelli's Romeo and Juliet Shakespeare film from the 60s. She also played Norman Bates' mother in the movie Psycho 4, made a Showtime movie called Psycho 4, which was a prequel showing Norman Bates growing up as a child, how he turned into who he became, which Henry Thomas from E.T. played him as a young man. And it was a great – if you've never seen Psycho 4, it's a great prequel film that they did on cable about how Norman grew up as a kid and how he turned into this kind of the psycho – killer that he turned into. So it was really good. But Olivia Hussey played his mom in the Mrs. Bates in the flashbacks, and she did it very well. Today is Roddy Piper's birthday. Wrestler, sometimes actor. He died in 2015. Great role in They Live. John Carpenter's great They Lived. Which when I watched that, I'm like, man, this guy can act. He's actually a really good actor.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Who doesn't love the fight scene with the sunglasses in the parking lot in They Live when they're beating each other up and he's like, put on these glasses.
Put these on. No.
They're beating the crap out of each other.
One of the longest fight scenes in history.
It's so fun. And once you think, and there's one false, you think it's over, and then the guy's walking away, and then and Roddy Piper, one of them just zooms into frame from the side and throws him up against the car. You're like, oh no, the fight scene isn't over yet. It's really funny. Game of Thrones premiered on this day. We talked about it. Well, today is Sean Bean's birthday. Today, Sean Bean, actor, English actor. I mean, I've liked everything this guy has been. Well, I like him.
He's a very good actor.
Great actor. One of my favorite characters in Game of Thrones. He got killed though. So did
a
lot of other people. A lot of other people. Well, season 1 he dies. So, yeah. So I wonder if he felt
not till the end.
Felt kind of cool where he's like, oh, wow, this show that I'm in called Game of Thrones is premiering on my birthday. How cool is that? And today is one of Mrs. BK's favorite actresses. If she could be her, she would become her. Jennifer Garner. It's her birthday today. American actress, TV show Alias, and several movies.
Have you seen the movie Peppermint with Jennifer Garner?
Yeah, I did see Peppermint. We saw it in a theater. Of course, it's a Jennifer Garner movie. We had to see that in the theater. We went to see that in the theater.
I watched it not that long ago. I don't think I told you, but I watched it just for bubblegum candy.
I thought it was moderately entertaining.
I had
no
very expectation.
Very predictable.
But it was fun to see her do what is typically the guy kind of revenge story.
Right.
From the mom's perspective. I thought it was great.
I just love watching
It was enjoyable in the sense of a fun movie.
I just love watching people get revenge on bad guys, which is
I do
great.
too. There's something satisfying about
We'll have
that.
more on this day. We need to do a little bit of that sometime. I think
maybe that's why I like them. I'm like, I wish I could do that.
I wish I could do that because if we
not go to jail when I got done.
If we could be guaranteed not to do that, there'd be a lot of revenge taking in my life. Speaking on there, we don't have time to do the rest, but we will do the rest of the On This Day in History, and I will have that story about the actor that passed away this week that you will know exactly who we're talking about when we tell you. And you may not know all the roles that he did when we tell you. It's BK on the Air.
I can put the wash on the line, feed the kids, get dressed, pass out the kisses, and get to work by 5 and 9. 'Cause I'm a woman, Angelie.
Give her Angelie, the 8-hour perfume for that 24-hour woman.
I can bring home the bacon, Angelie. Fry it up in a pan, Angelie. And never, never, never let you forget you're a man. 'Cause I'm a woman.
Angelie, the 8-hour perfume for your 24-hour woman.
Why buy just a video game from Atari or Intellivision? Invest in the wonder computer of the 1980s for under $300. The Commodore VIC-20. Unlike games, it has a real computer keyboard. With the Commodore VIC-20, the whole family can learn computing at home. Plays great games, too. Under $300, the wonder computer of the 1980s, the Commodore VIC-20.
Coming soon, Commodore brings you Gorf, the Wonder arcade game, and Omega Race in home versions. Commodore.
If you can pick bristle blocks up, you can put them together. And if you can put bristle blocks together, you can build all kinds of interesting things. Put any two bristle blocks together any which way, and they'll stay. Then you can pull them apart and see what else you can make.
What is that?
It's you, Daddy. Bristle blocks at 806 from Play School, a Milton Bradley company.
Hey, it's BK on the air. Hey, do you own a bike? Do you own a bicycle? Is it sitting over there in the corner of your garage or down in the basement with giant spiders have built like webs around it and dust and stuff, and it's just been neglected? Well, listen, if you do, I want to tell you about Cartersville Bicycle Service and Supply here in Cartersville. They offer maintenance and repairs on all bicycles as well as parts, accessories, and, of course, new bicycles, too. Whether you're a veteran rider or just starting out, Cartersville Bicycle has what you need to get out and enjoy the roads and trails of Northwest Georgia or just about anywhere you want to take it. Even if you've got one that hasn't had cobwebs and spider webs built around it. If it just needs a little tweaking or, you got a little problem with it here, you got brake problems or whatever maintenance, they can take care of that too. Stop in and see the shop. They're located at the corner of West Avenue and South Tennessee Street, and they're open every day, 7 days a week from 7:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. You can call them too at 470-315-BIKE. That's 470-315-2453. Or just search Cartersville Bicycle on Facebook. You can find them. That's Cartersville Bicycle Service and Supply. So, yeah, awesome. I've got another, it's National Something Day every day. We're going to finish up on this day in history. It's BK on the air. Today is National Crawfish Day today.
I don't mind crawfish.
Today was National Tang Day for us, which was great. It's also International Bat Appreciation Day.
I love bats.
And you too?
I do.
Bats are the most incredible, curious, and awesome creatures on Earth. They're just so cool, especially the ones that are like the fruit bats, the real big ones that actually kind of look like little puppy dogs.
They look like foxes.
They look like they are. They're called flying foxes, and for a reason, because they're just so cute. And I love the rehab videos. You're talking about going down a rehab video on YouTube.
A reaction video?
The rabbit hole on things and discovering. I've watched rehab bat videos where they rehab them and they feed them with little bottles and stuff, and they're like they get a bad rap for being evil vampire Halloween creatures, but they really aren't. I mean,
that they spread disease or something, which is just dumb.
That's like saying a dog spreads disease. Any animal that's got rabies and has a bad rap of maybe biting somebody, making them sick, that they're going to get a bad rap for that. But they don't. That's not their job. That's not solely what bats do. Today is also National. Oh, talk about being a kid. Today is National Cheese Ball Day.
Cheese puffs.
You notice that? Well, it's cheese ball. They're different shape, but basically made out of the same thing.
Right.
Did you know that the Planters has brought back, along with the Doritos nacho chips, taco flavored, retro packaging and making them like they did in the 70s and the 80s. Planters has brought out the cheese balls in the canister now, just like the old ones where you open it. It's like the Pringles can, only fatter.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So it's also today.
It's my can of balls.
Cheese balls.
Cheese balls.
Cheese balls. Today and we always like talking about 1981, and we're going to do it on and off all year because it's 2020. It's 2021, and 1981 was
40 years ago.
Well, 40 years ago, this was number one on Billboard's pop chart. That's right. Daryl Hall and John Oates, Kiss on My List. Number one 40 years ago on the Billboard chart. It's just hard to believe that was 40 years ago. Did you know that Daryl Hall and John Oates are the most popular, successful duo in history?
Which is kind of amazing. I never would have thought
heels,
that.
Though, by the way. We're hot on their heels.
Okay.
Just agree with me. Come on. Just go with it.
I'm going with it.
Let me live in my fantasy island here. Say things that I want to be true and make them true. Well, we lost an actor this week. He was an actor, and he was very short in stature but large in roles. Bruce Herring from Variety is reporting this. This is where I'm getting the story. Felix Silla died. And you're like, who? Who is that? He's not a household name. But once we explain to you who he is, then you'll go, oh, you'll have that revelation. Ding! That guy. He was best known as the gibberish. Well, I don't know if he's best known for this, but this is what the article says. He was best known as the gibberish-spouting Cousin It on the 1960s TV sitcom The Addams Family. He died from pancreatic cancer. He was 84 and died in Las Vegas, according to a tweet from Gil Gerard, Buck Rogers himself, who co-starred with him in the 1979, 1980 through 1981 NBC series Buck Rogers in the 25th Century. Silla portrayed the robot Tweaky on Buck Rogers. He played a couple other roles on Buck Rogers, too, in later seasons. He donned a full-body hairpiece, sunglasses, and a bowler hat to achieve the role of Cousin It, who could only be understood by members of the Addams Family, you know. So you can do Transformers. I can do Cousin It. That's not too hard to do that. Thanks to his strange mumbling. The role was one of several where Silla's face went unseen, including appearances, as we said, as robot Tweaky on Buck Rogers, and the hang-gliding Ewok in Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. He was one of the Ewoks in Return of the Jedi.
Oh, he got shot down.
Yep. But he got off a few rocks there.
After dropping some rocks on an ATST.
One role where he could be seen as the villain Litvak, who took on George Segal's Sam Spade Jr. in the Maltese Falcon sequel, The Blackbird, in 1975. Did you know the Maltese Falcon had a sequel in 1975 called The Blackbird?
No.
Yes. Litvak, he played Litvak in that, and you can see him. He wasn't wearing anything in that. So, he was wearing clothing, but he wasn't wearing anything on his face. Yeah,
I recognize his face from something that you may be getting to in this article, but because I'm going back and rewatching.
Okay. Let's see if it gets to it. Born in Italy, Silla was just under 4 feet tall and weighed a scant 70 pounds. He came to the U.S. in 1955 and toured with the Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus as a trapeze artist and tumbler. He came to Hollywood in 1962 and worked as a stuntman. His skills and sleights of stature led to a number of roles, including the Gig Young Shirley Jones comedy film A Ticklish Affair, the Bonanza episode Hoss and the Leprechauns, and in the original Star Trek pilot called The Cage in 1965, where he played one of the alien bighead Telosians.
Yep, that's it.
He later appeared in Planet of the Apes, Demon Seed, and Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom in 1984. He did stunt work. I think he stood in for Short Round. I think.
Oh, so because he would be able to play a kid.
He did stunt work in a number of big pictures, including E.T. the Extraterrestrial, Poltergeist, The Golden Child, and Batman Returns in 1992, among many other films. On TV, he was a regular performer as well on Sid and Marty Krofft's H.R. Pufnstuf and Lidsville. Silla debuted on The Addams Family in 1965 in an episode, if I can turn the page here, where a zookeeper wanted to put him in a cage. So the character was created by producer and was not in the Charles Addams cartoon, because it wasn't in the original Charles Addams story, so they added him for the TV show. It was an inspiration for the TV series. Cousin It's voice was also not Felix's voice. Instead, it was provided by a sound engineer, Tony Magro, in post-production for the Addams Family. So he did a lot of roles. He just didn't use his voice. He was just the actor. He also did not talk for Tweaky. Mel Blanc from the Warner Brothers cartoons talked for Tweaky, at least in the first season of Warner Brothers and most of the second season. You know, they changed, I think we talked about this before, they changed voices in season 2 of Tweaky to another guy.
For a few episodes.
And fans couldn't stand it, wrote letters, so they switched it back to Mel Blanc. Don't mess it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
You just like when you've got a shorter dude having the deeper voice, it just kind of goes better.
Yeah, and he's like, "What's up, Buck?"
Yeah.
And even as a kid, I'm like,
"Oh, no.
That sounds like Bugs Bunny." That sounds like the guy that does Bugs Bunny's voice, and he kind of was. But sometimes you couldn't tell when Mel Blanc was doing a voice. He did it so well. So let's continue the movie talk here and actors and stuff. We may run out of time before we get to the end of this, but Alfred Molina details his return as Doc Ock in Spider-Man No Way Home, the new Spider-Man film, which is filming right now in Georgia as we speak. Now, this was a rumor for a while, but he broke it with Variety on Variety. When he was first invited to reprise his role as the villainous Octo Octavius in Spider-Man No Way From Home, the forthcoming third installment of the Marvel Cinematic Universe Spider-Man films, led by Tom Holland, he said he was told to keep it quiet. Quote, "When we were shooting it, we were all under orders not to talk about it because it was supposed to be some big, great secret," Molina said with a laugh during an interview with Variety about his role as the from the Oscar-nominated Promising Young Woman that's coming. "But you know, it's all over the internet, so I actually describe myself as the worst kept secret in Hollywood," unquote, he says. Well, just give Tom Holland a while. Tom Holland would have said, he would have broke it, right? The way he talks about stuff. Instead, not only did Molina confirm his involvement in No Way Home, Spider-Man film, he happily detailed his experience making the movie and returning to a part he first played in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2. And take a guess when Spider-Man 2 came out. Do you remember?
Was it like 2001, 2, somewhere
You're
there?
close. It's 2004 because the first Spider-Man came out in 2001 because they had to remove all the World Trade Center stuff.
Right.
2004, Spider-Man 2. It was wonderful, he said. It was very interesting going back after 17 years to play the same role, given that in the intervening years, I have now 2 chins, a waddle, crow's feet, and a slightly dodgy lower back. Is he older? Yeah, I think he means he's older. When the actor asked director John Watts, the director of the Spider-Man film that he's working on, how the movie would bring back Doc Ock, since, as he pointed out, I died, Molina said the director told him simply, in this universe, no one really dies. So it's like Star Trek and Star Wars. No one's really dead. There's a good reason you can bring them back or something happens. Or you're alive in the multiverse. Well, maybe we'll find out. Another version of you. Now, in Spider-Man 2, Molina played scientist Otto Octavius, who was one of the most popular villains the Spider-Man
He's one of the originals
ever came upon. In their earlier conversations, Molina said Director Watts told him that the movie will pick up Doc Ock's story from that moment in the river, which in a franchise that includes multi-universes, time travel, and diverging timelines seems plausible enough. So they're going to take it up right from when he went underwater with his machine and it imploded and everything. So who knows if it really imploded or did it suck him somewhere else into another dimension? Who knows what happened? Because Marvel will come up with a story. They'll make it make sense. Molina's concerns were more practical. He said he asked Watts how they were going to deal with the fact that at age 67, he's aged since the 2004 film. He just looked at me and said, did you see what we did to Bob Downey Jr. and Sam Jackson? Molina said with a laugh. In 2016's Captain America Civil War, Marvel Studios used CGI to de-age Robert Downey Jr. as he looked in 1991. And in 2019, Captain Marvel, also set in the 1990s, de-aged Samuel L. Jackson, played a younger version of his character, Nick Fury. Molina also cited Martin Scorsese's movie The Irishman as an example of digital de-aging and its limitations. So we'll finish the rest of the story when we come back after the break here. He's got a few more things to say about it, but he is confirmed. Good news. That means maybe a lot of other old actors from the past will be in the new Spider-Man movie. It's BK on the Air.
At Pioneer, we don't build a high-fidelity receiver the way some of our competitors do. Instead of a pressboard bottom, our SX780 has a metal one that limits interference. It has power meters and a DC power supply for richer bass. It's things like this that have made Pioneer #1 among people who care about music. And isn't that why you buy high-fidelity components?
Beat inflation, folks, with Woolworth Dollar Day Super Values. Just $1 buys a whisk-on pan set or a bucket of 24 sponges. Your choice of steel oven pans, Super Seal food containers, or Camaro 20 exposure color film. Get 2 polyester blankets for just $7, vinyl lampshades for just $5. See our circular for hundreds of Dollar Day Super Values. It's like inflation never happened at Woolworth now.
I remember the day the girls came over for bridge club. I was so embarrassed because of lingering odors. Fish for dinner last night?
Phew, aren't we still smoking the cigars? Christ, did a cow here?
You are listening to BK on the Air on AM 1450, FM 100.3, and online on the Tunein radio app. Now, back to a guy who'll make you feel really young, mostly because he's so old. It's BK on the Air.
Talking about, before we went to the break, we talked about Alfred Molina returning to the Spider-Man world. He was originally in Spider-Man 2, directed by Sam Raimi with Tobey Maguire. Neither Sony Pictures nor Marvel Studios, which are co-producing Spider-Man No Way Home, has confirmed Molina's return. Who cares? It's just a formality now. He broke it on Variety. But news of his casting leaked last year, along with reports that Jamie Foxx will also appear as Electro, the villain he played in Amazing Spider-Man 2, which is the next Spider-Man film in a different continuity. So, and I've also heard that Willem Dafoe was approached. I've also heard that J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson was approached because he was in the version of the last Spider-Man movie that Marvel Studios did at the end as the Daily Bugle blogger
reprising his role as J. Jonah Jameson.
So here we go. We can see if we finally find out if those rumors are true from that. So it's currently scheduled to be a Christmas time release on December 17th of this year comes Spider-Man 3. They'll be done with it and ready to come out. Because I don't know about you, but I'm kind of going through a little Marvel withdrawals. I mean, I know that we've had the TV shows, which has been great to watch, WandaVision and now Falcon and Winter Soldier. We're in the middle of that. But, the Black Widow's one that's set to come out next. And then we've got Spider-Man.
As far as in the theater, yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to
No Way
Loki.
Home. Sorry. I'm getting all the home titles mixed up. No Way Home. That's it, right? Yeah, that's the new movie.
No way,
No way, homie.
No, man, you're telling me wrong.
770-386-1450 is our number. If you want to give us a call, feel free to do so. I have a story here from Orlando, Florida. Things are ready to get wild at Universal Orlando Resort. The better half, Mrs. BK, just returned from her week trip there, annual trip. It announced on June the 10th as the opening day for its anticipated new attraction, Jurassic World Velocicoaster. And that's not the only thing they're doing there. They're going to redesign the Jurassic Park River ride and turn it into the Jurassic World one, which will be updated with new effects. Chris Pratt's going to be added, so it won't be Jurassic Park anymore. All of that will go away. The new attraction is opening Islands of Adventure. Quote, the all-new species of roller coaster was conceived and designed by the award-winning Universal creative team in partnership with the acclaimed filmmakers from Universal Pictures and Amblin Entertainment, bringing to life a new Jurassic World story that combines the epic thrills and popular characters from the blockbuster film franchise with jaw-dropping roller coaster maneuvers, officials said in a news release. Now, designed for speed and engineered for the hunt, the coaster's revolutionary-style vehicle will send riders twisting and soaring across 4,700 feet of track as they encounter near misses, launches, and 12 heart-pounding seconds of airtime and more, with just a lap bar restraint holding them in place. One of the two pulse-pounding launches will send guests up to 70 miles an hour in 2.4 seconds on this coaster.
Wow.
That's nothing to be...
That's some G-force.
Yeah.
You'll feel that.
The ride's signature top hat, which propels riders 155 feet in the air and then immediately into an 80-degree drop, will be Universal's steepest drop yet at their park. So that's going to be a game-changing coaster for them there. I thought the Hulk was something else. The Incredible Hulk is a great, incredible roller coaster there at Universal. Universal said when guests step into the ride's queue, they will be greeted by the character Dr. Wu, who is touting the cutting-edge new coaster as its newest carnivore expansion. Guests will hear the screams of fellow riders as they rapidly roar by with Blue, Delta, Charlie, and Echo, the raptors in the movie, right on their heels, and even come face-to-face with a few hungry velociraptors that aren't so friendly along the way. Fans of the Universal have been counting down the days until the new attraction opens. Just last month, Universal opened a newly designed bypass bridge, which gave guests, and Mrs. BK saw this, an up-close look at two incredible velociraptor statues and views of the coaster's 360-degree barrel roll entrance. Universal said the new ride will be Florida's fastest and tallest launch coaster when it opens June 10th. So that's kind of cool. And this kind of dovetail with that. While they were down there, they saw the roller coaster being tested. They're using water dummies to test the Velociraptor coaster. What is a water dummy? Water dummies are either soft or hard plastic items which can be filled with water to simulate the weight and presence humans have on a thrill attraction. More advanced versions can now have testing items attached, such as G-force monitors and speed sensors. And there's a fun fact there, by the way. Let's get a little scientific. Humans are 60% water. We know that.
I think we're more than that, actually.
Well, that's what it said on the thing that I looked up.
I believe we're about 75. We're over 3/4.
Did it go up?
Well, we're bags of water.
Well, we're a little more now since we drank all this Tang that we had this morning. We're 60% water, 80%.
60 and 80.
60, 80. That's over 100%.
Yeah, you're 140.
Yeah, I'll go with 60% water, 80% sugar right now. That's how much sugar. We went over 100%.
Yeah, I've got it just at the bottom of my feet. It won't dissolve into me, just like at the bottom of the cup.
I failed algebra and math. I didn't do very well in it.
Dumbass. Basic addition.
Another type is a soft-sided water dummy that they use. They are made of thick plastic but collapse flat when not filled with water for easy storage. The water is what gives them the human shape. So just a little interesting roller coaster stuff there while they were down there doing that. That's kind of neat. 770-386-1450 is our number. Somebody's calling right now. Hey, it's BK on the air. Hello. Hey. No, this is BK. This is Jeff. What's going on?
Hi. Humans are 60% water.
So I was right. It's 60? Alan's going to his phone. He's got to check it now.
Yeah, now you're bugging me.
I guess it depends on what site you go to. as to what it is.
All right, let me hold on. Let me see what he comes
Yeah,
up
he's
with.
looking it up because either way, if he's right or wrong, I don't know what we're going to do. I mean, if I'm wrong, I'm just used to being wrong, so it doesn't really bother me very much. So, have you, Jeff, have you been to Universal Studios? Or I know you've probably been to Walt Disney World, right, in Florida?
Yeah, I've been to one in Florida, but it was, oh, my God, 35 years ago.
Wow, if you wait that long, the parks are completely different when you go back. If you get a chance and you go back, try Universal this time because there's a lot of great rides at Universal, too. Universal Studios, fantastic. That's what we've been talking about, is the new Jurassic World coaster. Have you looked it up, Alan? You're nodding your head over there?
Yes, you were right. 60% for the overall human body.
Gotcha.
It's 73% for the heart, 83% for the lungs, 64% for the kidneys and muscles. So it all averages out.
I was referring to the overall body, 60%. So
where do I remember? I remember
right.
seeing. Maybe I'm thinking whatever. Obviously, I'm wrong.
That's okay.
It happens.
I'll be down and ha-ha.
Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate it. Bye. Eric will be happy that he called in and did that. So I'm surprised Eric didn't call in and do that. So you get used to it when you get older.
Yeah. You know what's funny about
Being
this is
wrong.
they talk about the brain is about 73% water. And I was explaining to my daughter because she's discovered the world of alcohol and the day after.
Oh, really?
And I was like, you know what that is? It's because you don't have enough water. And she's like, what? I said, you know what that hangover is?
Tend to get sick.
Your brain is swelling for lack of water because you're dehydrated and your brain is pushing against your skull.
And it's going, help me.
And she said, is that what causes it? I'm like, yes.
Help me.
I'm like, that's why you need to drink water. You got to stay hydrated.
Well, when you have a hangover the next morning, can't you just drink like a little bit more vodka? There's water in the vodka, right?
No, you know what that does? It tricks you to think it's that whole hair of the dog that bit you.
That's terrible. That's not true. That just makes you forget about it because you pass out there. Oh, that's funny. So a lot of good story on that. Hey, I've got a story here. I wanted to do this last week, but I couldn't get to it because I didn't have time. And I may go to a break and come back and do this after the break. I got a story here about Wheel of Fortune. Did you ever watch Wheel of Fortune? Were you a fan of that game show?
Yeah.
I think I liked it years
I actually
ago.
just caught it not that long ago. We were camping and someone had their TV onto that.
I'm a game show fan. I always like The Price is Right. My favorite game show has always been Match Game and Hollywood Squares. To me, those weren't really game shows. They were just excuses for stars to get together and have a good time. And speaking of drinking, they would always say, hey, if you watch Match Game episodes, you can notice when people get a little more racy and goofy and the panel gets a little more crazy, that's toward the end of the day filming on that one, or the end of the week. Because they tend to do a little more, as they went by, a little more...
Oh, so that wasn't water in their coffee?
Sampling. And hey, in the early
Coffee
episodes,
mugs?
you can see the cigarettes. They're sitting there smoking on the set and everything. So there's a time where no one cared about that. So I've got a Wheel of Fortune story where viewers renew call for a rule change after another contestant loses on a small technicality. And I don't know if you know about this, but I got that story from Tyler McCartney coming up from Fox News. And the majority of Americans say this topping belongs on a pizza, according to a new poll. I don't think it's all that controversial, but it made the news on Fox News. That the percentage of people that preferred it. It's BK on there. We'll have more when we come back.
Hi, I'm Woodsy Owl. In order to try and stop pollution, we need more help. So, help Woodsy spread the word. Come on, never be a dirty bird. No matter where you go, you can let some people know to give a hoot, don't pollute. Never be a dirty bird. In the city or in the woods, help keep America looking good.
Turn it on, leave it on.
I want my MTV. I want my MTV. I want my MTV. Turn it on. Leave it on. I want my MTV. I want my MTV. I want my MTV.
I want my MTV.
24 hours a day.
In stereo. Yes, BJ. Your day. World premiere video special. Music news. I want my MTV, MTV, MTV.
Too much.
What?
Yeah, too much. Never enough.
And now, back to a guy who has no idea what a call of encroachment means, but he knows what roughing the listener is all about. It's BK on the air.
Well, if you're a game show enthusiast and like game shows, I have a story here that might interest you from Tyler McCarthy at Fox News. Wheel of Fortune viewers renew call for a rule change after another contestant loses on a small technicality. A rule that was introduced in 2016 along with the long-running game show's crossword puzzle format has been causing problems for some players. As some note, the rule is needlessly restrictive to contestants who otherwise solve the puzzle. This was the case for contestant David Peterson, who lost out on big money simply for adding the word "and" to his answer. That's the controversy. The crossword puzzle typically consists of 4 words that the contestants need to figure out. When it comes to time to deliver the answer, the rules state that they need to say the 4 words and only the 4 words that make up the puzzle that they solve. See, I don't have a problem with it. That's the rules. That's how you do it. It just
very
means you
specific.
have to watch what's going on. You just can't win it willy-nilly or whatever. Unfortunately, on Wednesday's episode, Peterson answered sole, flounder, cod, and catfish, which it should have been sole, flounder, cod, catfish without "and." This forced host
But
Pat,
it's a list, and I get that.
This forced host Pat Sajak to deny him the points for the correct answer and allowed another contestant to swoop in and guess the correct words without saying "and," according to Yahoo Entertainment, where I got this story from. This isn't the first time that much maligned rule has cost a player the win on Wheel of Fortune. In 2019, a contestant, Kristen Shaw, made the same mistake during the crossword puzzle segment of the show. The minor flub cost Shaw $1,950 as well as a trip to Nashville valued at more than $8,000. Quote, "Our long-standing rule is that in order to have a correct puzzle solve, a contestant must say only what is on the board without adding words," a spokesperson for the show told Fox News at the time. Continuing here, contestants are thoroughly briefed prior to the show, and Pat often reminds them of this rule when solving a puzzle in this particular category, unquote. In the light of fans previously calling for a rule change that would make simply adding the conjunction "and" to an answer less detrimental, viewers quickly took to Twitter to defend Peterson and call on the show to adjust the trap that's ensnared multiple contestants at this point. I don't see that as a trap. I mean, I totally don't understand why.
But I get when it's a list. We're so used to putting that because in lists you always put an "and" with the last one. So you might be reading the 4 words, but you're saying this, and of course this.
But isn't that kind of the thing that they stress in Jeopardy? You must answer in the form of a question. They don't lift the rules for that, so you got to watch what you're doing.
On that all the time.
I know. I hate that, and you got to really remember that. But it just means you got to watch what you're doing and be. I don't know. They're asking for a little bit of concentration and intelligence and smarts here. So come on. I vote for not changing that. Leave it the way it is.
Peter Falk character always had one thing more. Columbo! I mean, what is Columbo?
You missed it.
Who is? I don't know.
And how would
Third base.
How would you like to be almost ready to win the jackpot, and you do that and add "and" to it, and the next person gets to go and they win it, and they didn't know it until you said it.
Right.
That's the rules. That's too bad, man.
Them's the rules.
No. What my friends, what we used to say on the playground. That's tough, noogie. Right? Well, I got one more story here. We're ticking up to the top of the hour here, and we'll keep marching on. I remember people go, "How old are you?" I am Chuck Woolery.
You can't even say it, Tom Brokaw.
Chuck
What's
Tom,
have you been drinking?
Wheel of Fortune, Chuck Woolery, old. That's how old I am. I remember him being host of that. NBC Nightly News. From Michael Holland from Fox News, the majority of Americans say this topping belongs on pizza, according to a new poll. I scream, you scream. We all scream for... What do you think it is?
Well, normally that phrase would be ice cream.
Right, but it's not. They're making a joke here.
What has to be on a pizza?
This topping belongs on pizza. It belongs on it. And I don't know why I even made a story, but it did.
Cheese?
It's about as obvious as that. It's weird. It's nothing weird.
Sauce?
It's pepperoni.
Pepperoni. Okay, I was wondering if it's going to be an ingredient.
When it comes to pizza toppings, it sometimes feels like anything goes these days. Well, yeah, with some people it does. Based on a recent survey, however, it turns out many Americans like to keep things classic. Well, that's kind of how I like it. I don't want pineapple on my pizza either, by the way. I mean, I don't think it ruins it, but I just don't think it belongs there. According to a press release from Hormel Foods, Americans are more than twice likely to choose pepperoni over other popular options like sausage and ground beef. The survey, which was commissioned by Hormel and conducted online by the Harris Poll, had polled 2,000 adults in the U.S. about their pizza preferences. You and I are pizza aficionado lovers, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
We love pizza. According to the results, 80% of respondents said the pepperoni goes with pizza like peanut butter does with jelly. Well, I know people that don't like peanut butter and jelly together. While pepperoni may reign...
Don't hang out with
pizza,
those people.
Yeah, I try not to. I only knew them as acquaintances.
Those are weirdos.
They also didn't like... I'm like, peanut butter and jelly. Wow, how does that not go together? And who was the first person to do it, I wonder? We need to look that up.
No.
And
I need
people
something
who don't
to
like
de-sticky the peanut butter. What can I put in here? Oh, jelly.
Watermelon. I know people that don't like
Although
watermelon.
I know people put honey on peanut butter, which is actually pretty good.
Or honey peanut butter, anyway. But when I was first introduced to watermelon as a kid, I'm like, who could not like this? This is the nicest, sweetest tasting, big, happy fruit summertime that I've ever had in my life.
I'll still make a PB&J. If I need something quick, quick sandwich, that's easy.
I love it. And I love the natural peanut butter with no sugar added with the oil that's in there. I love the stir peanut butter because it's better for you. While pepperoni may reign supreme on pizza, other toppings recently got some bad. A survey from mid-February determined America's least favorite pizza topping. You know what their least favorite pizza topping is?
Anchovies.
And it's my least favorite. Exactly. What are you doing putting fish on a pizza?
Especially
Can't stand
salty fish that just has such that's all you taste.
Eat the head and everything. You eat it all different. According to a post on YouGov.com, it's anchovies is their least favorite topping.
Many of our contestants are chosen from our studio audience for future shows, so if you'd like to be a contestant, simply write to us. Enclose a self-addressed stamped envelope, mailed to Tickets, Match Scheme 74 at CBS Television City, 7800 Beverly Boulevard, Los Angeles, California, 90036.
I'm running away from home. My parents are mean. Where'll you go? I'm not sure, but I'll show them.
That's right. You'll show them how mean you can be.
Shipwreck!
Isn't it better to try to solve problems instead of running away from them?
I could try talking to my parents again.
Yeah, tell them how you feel. And remember, running away
leads nowhere. Now I know. And knowing is half the battle.
G.I. Joe!
Most illogical.